What's going on, backpackers and campers? Dave here with Off-Grid. I'm into backpacking, hiking, camping, and gear, and today we're going to be focusing on the gear portion of the channel, and it's going to be about this guy right here. And full disclosure, this is the first ever piece of gear that I have received for free on the channel, so I'm really excited about that because it means that I can review a lot more products for you guys to see if they're legit or not. And the other disclosure that I'm going to tell you today, guys, is that this one is just going to be a first look and unboxing of this. And normally when I was thinking about receiving products, I was thinking, well, I think I'm just going to give it more of a run first before I end up like reviewing it for you guys to see whether or not I liked it. But I am so jazzed about this one and really excited to try this one out in the field that I figured I'd do a first impression on unboxing first. So let me just dive right into this one for you guys and let you know what it's all about. This is a UK company by the name of Sunblesa, I think is the way that it's pronounced. And let's just get into all the good stuff about this and tear open this box right here. Let me show you a little bit closer up what it looks like. But this is the Sunblesa rechargeable ultralight headlamp, or head torch if you are in the UK. The model number is H11 and it has a max lumens of about 365, and the total weight with the headband they're saying weighs around 45 grams, which is about 1.5 ounces. It says that it's fully waterproof. What else we got here? Basically just has like all the stats right here on the box, so I love that. I have it kind of pulled up over here, but I love that they also have it right here on the box as well. So there are a few different light modes. They have a white, a red, which is, you know, kind of standard for headlamps, but they also have a green mode, which is kind of interesting, and I'll get into in a little bit. And then they also have 5 different modes with those lights. So they have a white light, they have a max, high, and middle, a low, and a strobe. A lot of different modes that you can kind of cycle through, which I'm going to do in a hot second here. The onboard battery is 700 milliamp lithium ion. It says it has a max runtime of about 200 hours. I'm assuming that's on the lowest setting possible. And then it also says that it has a battery power indicator, which is really interesting. So let's just crack this open and see what it looks like and get a closer look at this. All right, so right off the bat, it's cool that it comes with its own charger. This is a micro USB, so not a USB-C. So a little bit of a point off for that one. I think a lot of companies are going towards the USB-C nowadays. They give you a little bit of an instruction manual that you can take a look at, and then just the headlamp. So pretty straightforward, not a lot to it. Let me show you what it looks like on top of the dome here. A little bit snug fitting, gotta play with that one a little bit, but there it is on top of the hat. So it's a pretty low profile, and you know, I was thinking about this one when I was looking it up, and I can't help but compare it to the Nightcore NU25. I think that is probably the closest comparison that I can think of right off the bat, because of not only its size, but also its weight and its price. So this one right now, as of the date of this recording, is about $35. I'm not sure what that is in pounds for you guys across the pond. And then the total weight, including the head strap, like I had mentioned, is 1.5 ounces. So the Nightcore NU25 comes in at around 2 ounces with the strap, and the total price for that is about $37. So this one comes in at a couple bucks cheaper and about a 1/2 ounce lighter with the included head strap or headband. I'm noticing here, just kind of looking at it, it has a little bit of a glue strip right here. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I think that adds to the overall like tackiness to it, or the ability to kind of like stay on your head. So that one's pretty cool. Adjustable strap, pretty standard. It's got that kind of like stretchy, I'm assuming nylon type of material, but I could be wrong on that one. And then we got the battery charging port right down here with a little flap that goes over it. And again, just a micro USB. So nothing crazy there. It's got an adjustable, you know, headlamp, head torch. I mean, it goes up and down for different degrees, so that's really cool too. And it seems pretty sturdy, like each one of the notches kind of like lock in there, so that's really good. And then we have a similar green strip from the bottom here on the top. All right, apparently I gotta charge this thing, so I'll be right back. Okay, it's actually the next day because it took me a little while to figure it out, but it turns out that this guy was pretty much charged. I didn't find out how to figure out that you could actually check the battery percentage on this thing until after I had charged it, because I thought it was dead already, but it turns out it wasn't dead. There's actually a really cool feature on this, which is a lockout feature that I had to figure out. And in doing so, and over the past day already, I played around with this quite a lot, and I am even more impressed with how feature rich it actually is. So let me show you the different functions on this thing. We've got an on-off button on the left side, and then we have this button that they just call R on the right side. I'm not really sure. It's more of like a mode kind of button, but I don't know why they labeled it R. I'm not sure if you can pick up the power and the R right there, but let me show you this here. So they have a power on and a power off. So that is kind of the lower light setting, I want to say. And then they also have a memory function on this too, which is really cool. So they have a lower light, a brighter light, and then the high that I was talking about. And then I think if you hold it, it goes even brighter. So it has like that max setting before cycling back through. What's really cool about this is that, again, they do have that memory function that's on it. So basically what it does is you do a quick press and it'll go to the last one that you had saved it at, which is really nice. I really like that about the other headlamp that I've loved using, which is the Go for Wild headlamp. But it has to stay on for, I think, a minimum of 3 seconds before you quick press it, and then it turns just off again. So if you want to cycle through, you have to do the quick press and then click it pretty quickly to get to the other settings again, and then wait that additional 2 to 3 seconds before you can just turn it off with another quick press. So that is the left side. The right side cycles through a couple different ones, so it's on this other side here. Supposedly it has a green mode, a white mode, and a red mode, but I haven't been able to figure out which one is the green. They both just kind of look like white to me, so maybe that's an issue that I wasn't able to kind of figure out in this first run through here. But the red light's pretty cool, and then if you hold that down, it ends up going through a small strobe and then like a really quick strobe or an SOS. So sorry if I was blinding you there. And then the other cool function that I mentioned is the lockout, and basically what you do is you just hold these two buttons down until you see a red light show up, and that basically means that it's locked out. So if you try to push it, the red light will come on again. Not sure if you can see that one as well. And that's basically what I was running into yesterday. I was trying to push both of the buttons and it wasn't working. But that's particularly great if you're out in the field and you want to have protection so that you're not rubbing this up against something else in your pack. It turns on and then the battery ends up draining on you. So that's a really helpful function, which is really cool. And then you just basically hold them down again until that red light shows up again, and there you go. You've got the functionality back of the headlamp. So that's really cool. I mean, I was looking through the manual. Definitely read the manual on this one because it helped out a lot. You can tell that this was made in China, even though this is a UK brand, because the English isn't the greatest on here. But it gives you a nice little chart over here that tells you, how long the battery lasts and all the different modes. And stuff like that. So it was cool to learn that at the max setting of 365 lumens, it doesn't last in that setting for very long. I think it says here it'll only work for about 30 seconds before it goes back down to high mode. So what that basically means is that you can't stay in 365 lumens very long before it drops down to that 190. So for me personally, I think just kind of walking around and kind of looking around camp, 190 is actually pretty decent. 38 is pretty good if you're going to use this as like a lantern in your like tent, if you hang it up in your tent at night and you just want some light to read or just do anything with. And then the 2 lumens is basically for nothing. I don't know, I think that might be more so if you're sitting at camp and you don't like to use the red light mode like I don't. That would be good for that. But so a lot of great features on this. I particularly love the fact that it is light, coming in at around 1.5. So I had mentioned that it's 1.5. I have since weighted on my scale, on my kitchen scale, and it came in at 1.65 ounces. So a little bit heavier all in with the strap and everything than what they had mentioned, but still, you know, kind of negligible in the grand scheme of things. I really also love the fact that it has that memory function and the fact that I can lock out both of the buttons with that lockout feature. Over to the cons that I can see right now without having used it in the field just yet. And one of the biggest things for me was just trying to figure out how to use it, which if I had to read the manual to kind of figure out how to use it to begin with, I think it's going to be difficult for me to remember it each time that I go out into the field as well. So the pro is also kind of the con there. The fact that, you know, it doesn't have a ton of buttons is actually pretty good, but the fact that you have to kind of remember the combination and pressing and holding for certain things in order to get to what you need is probably a little bit confusing for some of the users that are out there. But all in all, if I had to choose between not having all those functions and just having a more simplistic device, I think I would definitely choose the functions overall, just maybe adding 1 or 2 more buttons so that you can kind of just easily remember at a quick glance what those functions do for you. But overall, I'm really excited to use this out in the field and report back to you guys after I've used it for a little bit to see you know, how this fares in the field. There are some mixed comments as of right now on their Amazon store. If you want to find these guys, I'll post links down below, but they're mostly just on social media. I don't think that they have a legit website. They're mostly just kind of like on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. And that's kind of how they reached out to me. But really excited to try this one out in the field and give it a run and then report back to show you guys a little bit more about the functionality and how I ended up using it in the backcountry. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. Just a really quick first look at the Sunblesa H11 headlamp or head torch, depending on where you are in the world. If you have this headlamp, I want to hear about it down below, what your thoughts are and how you've been using it and if you've liked it or not in the field so far. And that's it. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for watching this week, guys. Remember, if you're headed off grid, make sure you do your research and you make it a safe one, and I'll see you on the next one. Back in the saddle again. I didn't figure out how to figure out